Who has not happened at some time, who has experienced the breakdown of a relationship and soon finds out that their partner is already with someone else? No matter the time that has passed, hours, days, weeks, months, discovering that the person you have loved has a new partner removes all the foundations of the heart. I have found out that my ex is with someone else. When a relationship ends, it seems that the balance is broken, that the foundations on which personal and couple life was organized are shaken in such a way that at first one feels lost. In cases where one still feels intimately linked with his ex-partner, and sometimes even if there is no longer a relationship, one of the great impacts is discovering that the ex is already with another person. It seems that, at that moment, it is as if a Pandora's box was open that did not exist before, and the end of the relationship is more palpable than ever, and one begins to ask questions of all kinds. What does that person have that I do not have? Grief is understood as a period of emotional adaptation to a new situation where loss has occurred. That said, one can go through feelings as extreme as anger at indifference, pain at disbelief, sadness, and a feeling of lack that sometimes is hard to handle. Both after the breakdown of the relationship and when someone else is already there, one usually rethinks the relationship and what each one contributed. It is important that the time comes when one can remove the blindfold to objectively weigh why it has not worked, what each could have done better, and what they can learn from that relationship for future loves. It is true that it is not easy to reach that point of objectivity and to openly value the relationship, to be able to learn. Many times, it can be difficult to let go of the other person and you get hooked on that love despite not being healthy for either of you, or of all three. That said, just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's impossible or unattainable. You have to work emotionally to get to that point, to be able to free yourself from the burden of the past, from your own balance, knowing your personal needs and loving aspirations. What feelings are normal? There are times when we need to expose our feelings and emotions to an external ear to know if what we feel is normal or if we have gone completely crazy. Sometimes the feelings are so intense when an ex has another partner that one feels overwhelmed. Understanding that each person is unique and that each one feels in a specific way, we can think that in general, feelings of surprise, anger, pain and even a feeling of betrayal that would be completely irrational usually appear. It is then when one is faced with the possibility of having been forgotten and that, in the fear that this love has already found its end, one feels that he has been replaced. These are moments when one can get carried away by the loop of questions such as, what will you have that I don't have? What will it be like? Will it make you happier? How easy am I to forget? And an infinite long number of questions that will never be answered. When a relationship ends, there needs to be a moment of rebuilding, of picking up all the affection and hopes that have been placed in another person and returning them to ourselves. To do this, you need a time alone, a time to heal wounds, in which you can look back objectively to see what went wrong, how many mistakes depended on the other person and how many on yourself. But in the event that you found out shortly after they left you, or, despite the fact that this step has taken place, insecurities and comparisons appear, there is a narcissistic wound that reminds you that you are not the chosen one, that this relationship where you tried so hard was not what you expected, you are not that person nor is he and she your person. This sometimes tends to generate a lot of contradiction because you think that you were fine previously, that you had already overcome it, but suddenly everything changes. What happens then? I know it may sound like a dream come true, but we can help you make it come true. Glad to tell you that you don't have to wander in the dark, waiting for luck. Take advantage of our experience and recover the person you love. Click and access now to the following personalized guide. Subscribe and comment. A pleasure and thanks.